I thought first and foremost for our first game week Tuesday, this was a really good, hard-fought, tough physical practice, and that's what Tuesdays are, and that's what Wednesday is going to be tomorrow as well. So when we're getting prepared to play games, these are the types of practices that we have to get ourselves prepared for. They're going to be a little rigorous physically. They're going to be a little rigorous mentally as we implement game plans and things. But all in all, I thought the guys really responded well. Some of the injured guys, were limited, obviously, as we can tell. Justin Davis is very limited. Lamar Dawson, very limited. Claude Pellon, Jordan Simmons, all those guys really limited. So we'll see how they progress throughout the week, but we're technically preparing to go without them. If we get them, that'll be a bonus. Taylor McNamara had a little lightheadedness. You guys probably saw him sit out the rest of practice there. We added a punter, a blue shirt, Chris Tibley, from San Francisco City College, Australian kind of punter type that we're really trying to invest into here for our future. So, but all in all, it was a good Tuesday practice, and looking forward to watching the film and getting ready for tomorrow.
Is Chris eligible this year, though?
Technically, yes, he's eligible. Yes.
Okay.
You alluded on the radio show last night, just talking about Chad Wheeler, that he's going to be your left tackle. Have you kind of settled on a first five, would you say, at this point?
I don't. We do, but I also want the guys to compete throughout the week. We've got a really competitive group. We're 10 deep basically up front, and so I've got a really good idea. They know they've got a good idea, and you guys do too. You see who's taking the field with our ones, but I don't want anybody to get complacent, and so the competition rages on just like it does at every position for us. But Chad has really worked himself into good shape. He's performing at a high level, and I feel good about him. If he goes out and plays every snap Saturday, that we'll be fine.
How about with Dawson kind of limited,
Cam Smith, yeah. But Gary, you guys have seen it since spring. The guy's been making plays for us, and he's performing at a high level. He's got a high football IQ. He's just a heady guy, and that position, sometimes you always think he's got to be the big tough guy, which he is, but it takes smarts to play that position. We saw it with Hayes, for how many years Hayes did it, and Cam definitely has a real good sense and a good feel in there.
Coach, what do you look for in the team in our first game?
Oh man, we look for a lot. One, we're looking for no performance anxiety, right? We want to play in the absence of fear. We just want to go out and let it rip. And sometimes in game one, you can be a little bit hesitant because it's a new team. So that's the first thing. The second thing is just not making things up. And I know that sounds very simple, but you just want to go out and take what you do on the practice field and carry it over to the game field and just continue to play the way we're capable of playing. And then three, just minimizing the penalties and the ball security and the things of that nature. I think if we can do all those things, we'll play good football. But that's the challenge of it all, that transition from the practice field to going into the Coliseum at 8 o'clock on national television and doing it well.
How would you talk about rhythm? Is that for your offense? How important is that, getting a rhythm in that first game?
Well, I mean, it's great, but I don't know that we're not going to go 3 and out the first drive. That doesn't mean we're not going to have a good game on offense. So I try not to put all my eggs, and we have to be great at the beginning. I'd like us to be really good for 4 quarters, and so rhythm is key, but rhythm is developed as well as an offense.
How do you rate this team in terms of ball security and minimizing penalties? How have they been?
Well, I think we've been good, Dan. I think that it goes both ways, because I want the defense to create turnovers, and we've created some this training camp, which has been really positive. I've been talking early on in camp about the tips and then the DBs being in position to get those interceptions. We need to have that on defense. Now, offensively, what I don't feel like our quarterbacks are forcing throws, which is positive. I don't feel like our running backs are careless with the football. I think that the turnovers that our defense has gotten have been earned, and so that's been positive. The penalty thing is always challenging, because sometimes you get into a game and something that maybe wasn't called all throughout practice all of a sudden gets called, and we have to make an adjustment, especially early in the season. So, but we haven't been blatant. I know that much. I thought our DBs have been much better this camp of not grabbing and holding and playing with more confidence with their feet and running with guys. So, which was a big issue for us last year. So, I think that'll be probably a better question for me, at about 12:30 on Sunday morning.
Cody's talked about treating every opponent as a faceless opponent. Why is that important for this team?
Because we shouldn't change. We should play to our standard and not to the standard of our opponent. It doesn't matter who we play. And if we play our game, we play to our standard, our physicality, our speed, our tempo, our execution, then our opponent doesn't matter. Is that good enough to win? Well, then we'll see. But that's the standard, that the bar we set for ourselves, and that's what we have to play to every week.
Anyone in particular in line to be the nickel guy?
I think we have a couple guys, quite honest, Gary, but I hate to name one because you're going to see so many guys out there playing. I mean, I said it on the radio last night, we're going to be platooning defensive players at a probably alarming rate compared to what we've been doing here for years. So you're going to see, you see Marvell in there, you're going to see Chris Hawkins in there, you're going to see Matt Lopes in there. So you're going to see numerous guys in that kind of spot that's going to be down in the box, moving around. But also, we'll settle in. We want to give our guys a chance to go play. And we've talked about this at length all offseason, that we want to play more guys early in games. And then as the game goes on and as the game moves into the fourth quarter, we should be fresh enough to leave our best guys out there to go out and perform in the critical moments. And so that's what we're looking forward to doing. And we'll see how it goes.
Do you plan to use all three of the freshman tailbacks?
Yes, all three of them will play. That was lame last one, sorry.